Hello, guys. Welcome to Adobe Pro Tips. My name is Jacob. I'm going to be your host for today. I'm really excited. This is going to be a super fun one. It's been a while since we've done a Pro Tips together. Thank you for joining in and, thank you for being a part of this. I'm really excited for this. We can just hop right into it. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. And yeah, let's just hop over to Illustrator and get into this. Pretty much what we're going to be focusing on today is one of my favorite things, which is color. Um, Obviously, when it comes to graphic design and illustration, there is a lot of factors of, what you need to do. There's your line work, there's your fonts, there's all this stuff. But the most important, in my opinion, is the color. It's what gives all these posters such a beautiful, style. It's what gives all of, everything around you these cool, makes things pop out. So, yeah, let's just hop into it. Right now, if you notice, I do have a little design here. This is something I plan on bringing actually to Adobe Max. I'm really excited. This is a sticker I've kind of been workshopping for a while, which is the graphic design license, trying to figure out what is the best thing, I guess, that encapsulates being a graphic designer. I sketched this up in Adobe Fresco super fast, and yeah, we're just going to jump right into actually vectorizing. So first part of this is, of course, the vectorizing step, which when I'm drawing in Illustrator and vectorizing images, really all I like to use is a combination of the shapes tools, the lines tools, and the curvature tool. So what we can do, go ahead and hop in here. And I like to have a layer of a few different things kind of organized up and down. Here with my sketch layer, I'm just going to go ahead and click on that and drop the opacity. We can go ahead and bring up our opacity window around here. Maybe our appearance window. That's what we're looking for. I hope everyone's having a great week. I know it's a little early for some of us on West Coast time, but I appreciate you hanging out. So what we'll do here is we'll just start with this shape like this, and we'll bring up that stroke here in the properties panel. So maybe we'll make that 15. I'm liking 15. 15 feels good. And then we can go ahead and click on the direct selection tool and just reshape that a little bit. We're going to be diving into a lot today in terms of the, I guess, post-production, having the actual design drawn. So I'm not going to spend too much time on the assets of this, like the fonts and the orientation. I did prep that just so we can delve right into the color. And also, I'm sure you saw in our little preview, we're also going to be talking about probably another one of my favorite things for getting design all set up and ready to go, and that is mockups. Illustrator has a really cool new mockup feature that I think has absolutely changed the game for designing. So I am really excited to show you guys. So let's see, we'll go ahead and shape this like this. Perfect. We'll resize this. What has your guys' workflow been looking like this summer? Do you feel like you've been having more inspiration, less inspiration? It's kind of funny because I feel like based on the season for me, I have more inspiration in the summer. I think it's because I go outside more. And here over in Calgary, Alberta, it's sometimes just too cold to go out in the winter. I would rather just stay inside, which should give me more incentive, I guess, to draw. But, sometimes it's just nice to get cozy up, play some video games or something. And yeah. So you can see I'm just kind of using a combination of the direct selection tool and the pen tool. Really simple stuff. Nothing too crazy. If you guys are familiar with vectorizing in Illustrator, or if you've seen any of my previous live streams, you'll probably know that this is almost everything I use in order to get my characters and all my designs. Sweet, sweet. So we'll go ahead and make this hand. I think I want to spend about 10 minutes on this because the color aspect just goes so in depth. Have you guys been using any of the generative recolor features? If you want to let me know in chat, is that something that you feel like is being utilized in your workflow? Because as soon as they announced it, I was over the moon. It really changed my life entirely. Great, so we'll do this. We'll go ahead and make this circular capped. Perfect. And yeah, we're flying through this. We're doing a real quick job of this illustration. I was really excited about being able to feature this today in the live stream. I think it's ridiculous, which is my favorite type of design work, is just like silly, goofy, I guess like joke designs, you know? I like making people laugh, and stuff like this makes me happy. So I think I'm gonna try to design these as some business cards or like some stickers, maybe. Throw my @ on there. Sweet, we're getting so close. So we'll just go ahead and do this ear real quick. Just knock this out as fast as possible. Perfect. We'll knock this guy out. It's also very funny because behind me, I don't know if you guys can see it in the frame, this little black spot right there is a little sleeping kitty. He wanted to join me today, and he's cooperating, unlike some other live streams where he just likes to scratch at the door all day. Tends to be a goofball. Sweet. So we'll go like this. We'll add this here. Beautiful. I've got to say, with all the new additions in Illustrator and just the things that they are implementing, it has made drawing even more fun than it used to be. I feel like I remember when I first started trying to use Illustrator, and of course it's a learning curve. I think all Adobe products are a learning curve because, you know, they're very complex. They do a lot. But let's see, copy paste. There we go. But once you get the hang of it, it's just so intuitive. It's kind of crazy. All right, put this here. But yeah, now like I feel like it's just so convenient to just sit down at my desktop. I guess not my computer, but my desktop, and just like draw. And now I like drawing all day, which I feel like is rare. I don't know. I feel like once you start getting it into like the job aspect of things, it tends to get like, you know, everything turns into a work eventually. Let's see. Drag this guy right here. Beautiful. Go like this. Boom. Look at that. That's me. Well, it's supposed to be me, but we'll go ahead and group that up just by clicking Command G. Perfect. And yeah, if you do want to see more of my work or any designs, thankfully Jack is hooking us up with my website up in the description, or I guess in the comments, in the chat. That's it, the chat, because we're live. So got our design down. So what I want to do now, obviously, is I want to add a bit of a border. And again, I have prepared all of these. So drew out my border just using the rectangle tool. We also need, let's see, our text. For this text specifically, I got this off of Adobe Fonts. All right, this font. I got it off of Adobe Fonts. It's called Carrick or Caracu. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. I really like it. I think it just fits. We also need our inner border. We also need our funny text, which shout out to everyone on Instagram that took part in helping me figure out what is relatable as a graphic designer. We landed on these 5. So I'll just go ahead and group this up. I'll remove my sketch layer. Go ahead and zoom out a little bit. I've actually prepared a bit of a color study, if I'm not mistaken, one of them, to kind of work off of. If you guys don't know, I am a colorblind artist, so I tend to rely heavily on different types of resources, especially in the Adobe space, like Adobe Colors, which is available online, as well as Generative Recolor, which we are going to get into. But with this specifically, I did use Adobe Colors to get to this, I guess, color study for this design. The name of this font, again, Barrow, is, let's see, Carrick Medium Melted. You can find it on Adobe Fonts. Also, for the eagle-eyed individuals, we've got a little bit of a Comic Sans over here too. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and expand my design just so we can go ahead and start coloring. I'm just going to throw like a general color down. Obviously, we're not going to use that, but we'll start with this guy. Actually, you know what? Yeah, this will work. So we'll start with this guy. We'll give this a full white background because I think I like that a little bit more. We will add some color to my character. We'll go ahead and highlight these little lines. This is something I've been enjoying doing lately. Perfect. We'll make this earring yellow. We'll make my hat this nice kind of greeny, turquoisey. Change these colors. And all I'm doing to color in these objects is once you have the actual illustration expanded with the object make and expand, you can just use a combination of the eyedropper tool by pressing I and the live paint bucket tool by pressing K. So that's all I'm doing is just swatching these colors, adding them in, and using the live paint bucket tool to fill in all of my whites. I know there's a lot of different ways to color your artwork in Illustrator. I think this is my favorite. I think it's the most accessible in terms of just being able to hop into it and kind of paint within the numbers. There are ways, if you draw with connected art, that you can use the live paint bucket tool even without expanding your image. Personally, I am not that clean of a designer, so that's not my forte. But we've got our general color down, which is great. So now what? Well, what we're going to do is, let's see. We will go ahead and remove this guy, and we will go ahead and click Command C and Command V to kind of get a comparison to put beside the other examples that we're going to do. So now we're getting into the nitty gritty. After about 15 minutes, we're going to get into it. So one thing that we can use in order to help us with color that I love so much is to edit colors. Generative Recolor. Generative Recolor is such a powerful tool in Adobe Illustrator, and it's great for people, especially like me, who have these accessibility issues. When you first open it up, you're going to immediately see some sample products. So let's just click on Lavender Storm for fun. Once you click on your prompts, you are going to get 4 prompt options. Here, it'll look a little bit weird in the thumbnail, but if you click on it, you'll notice it'll start changing into this really beautiful lavender color. And I already like this a lot. I like that it's adjusting tonally to the changes that I've made. Like the outlines are darker than the skin tone, and the skin tone is still kind of this like warmer, kind of brownish color, or warmish purplish color is what I'm trying to say. Even the hat, like all these things, I feel like they work in tandem with the character. And honestly, if I was looking at this, I'd say, oh, it looks like me at nighttime, which I think is super cool. And that's just from a click of a button, right? The amount of color studying that you have to do sometimes can be really frustrating. And even this, like you get some funky colors that you might not even think of. And this really helps me break out of that, like, oh gosh, like I don't know what to do. Like I don't know how to approach this specific character or how to approach these colors. Say if I don't like any of these options, I can just click generate again. And I'll get 4 more options. So now I have even more options. This is like a pastel-y color, or maybe not pastel-y, but like a grayish purple. I really like a lot. There's this color too that's kind of freaky. Like there's just so many options, but we can go even further, which I think is super cool. So what we can do, let's just reset this entirely. Let's type in our own prompt. So we have this character that's me, and maybe I want it to be in green tones. And this is all trial and error. It's going to be exactly like Generative, or I should say, it's going to be exactly like Adobe Firefly, where you're going to be putting in prompts and messing around with these prompts in order to spit out a good product that is going to work for you as well as, you know, for the project you're working on. So in this case, I'll type in something like maybe we'll do cute small character carrying large pencil with, let's say, let's not do green, let's not do purple, we saw those already. Let's do yellow tones. It might change the color of my skin, and that's totally okay. This is just for an example. Also, Jacob Phillips in the chat, hello to you. We've got 2 Jacobs today. How amazing. So we'll go ahead and click generate with these options. And again, you'll see not a ton in the thumbnail, but if we click, we'll start kind of getting a mix of colors, a mix and mash. Here we're getting kind of some more greens, and that 100% could be because of the fact that we have a base color that is going to clash with the colors that it's trying to mix. So a good way to counteract that, and the way I like to do it, is you can actually just kind of use some more neutral tones. So let's say we do like a let's do like a warmer orange, and then we'll do like a darker orange here. We'll do lighter. I'm kind of just like throwing colors in here willy-nilly, not really thinking about it. And that's kind of the fun of it too, is you can do that and you can go back into edit colors, generative recolor. And then let's try the yellow. Yellow tone, bright colors, sunset. I always use vibes. So I'm just going to put sunset vibes. I don't know why. I think it's just like a filler word for me. But now you'll see we're getting those kind of like yellow tones because we were already in those warmer kind of on the reddish, yellow, orangish spectrum. And it really gives you some like weird like combinations. Like it's really nice, and it makes it fun for kind of being able to guess around and make some different takes on this character. So let me show you how fast you can whip some of these up too, if you want to do like different examples for clients. I think this is really, really useful, especially when you're trying to just like get as many ideas out there as possible, and you don't really want to like waste your time, or you know, you just want to do like just quick, just like crank them out, you know. I can't really snap with this hand super well if it wasn't obvious. So we'll make a few more artboards. We'll go ahead and remove our swatches panel, and let's do maybe, I say, 2 more of these stickers. So we'll go ahead and go here. Let's go to object, or sorry, edit colors. I always want to go to object for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. Let's do Summer by the Sea. That sounds fun. Let's do an example prompt. Just get something funky. Yeah, like I like this. This is weird and cool. I love it. Let's go to edit colors. Let's put something of our own. Does anybody have any suggestions in the chat of any prompts they'd want to see with recolor? If you do, let me know. Maybe let's do like coffee, what is it, like earth tones. Can I spell? Helps if you're good at spelling for prompts. I'm not gonna lie. Let's see what we've got. Okay, we're getting some grays, kind of. Let's do coffee, earth tones, browns, and dark tans. Not ands, tans. There we go. Okay, now we're kind of getting into that like brownish vibe. This is kind of like a creamy, tannish, grayish. Obviously my eyes are kind of hurting me a little bit on this one, but that's the fun of generative recolor, right? Is you kind of can get into all these funky things. You want to see bold color? Yeah, let's try bold color, Barrow. Let's go to edit colors, generative recolor. Let's do bold neon colors. That'll be fun. Yeah, so now we're getting some crazy, crazy colors. This is definitely like in an absolutely wild spectrum. Like this is reminding me so much of like not Tron, but like Blade Runner, like, you know, like with the neon lights, which I think is really cool. And yeah, I mean, I think we have a good amount of options right now, which is super fun. But now let's get into actually making it presentable for clients. This is part 2 of this live stream, which is going to be working with the mockup feature. If you're unfamiliar with the mockup feature, in my opinion, and sorry if this is controversial, I think it is the most powerful feature in Adobe Illustrator, personally. It is extremely powerful and extremely easy to use and extremely accessible, and it's going to eliminate so much need and so much money, and it's going to make things so much easier to do. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I downloaded this off of Adobe Stock. I licensed it. You could go to Adobe Stock free and get your own kind of like something like this. They're obviously free for use because I licensed it, or I should say they're up for use so I could present this to a client because I did license it. But are you guys ready? This is crazy. I'm hyping it up, but it's so cool. So literally all we need to do is have our vector art, have our image in the front, or I should say, sorry, have our image in the back, highlight them both, go to object, mockup, make, and then it's going to load because it's very powerful. Do a little loady load. Come on, Illustrator, you can do it. And look at that. Obviously, I missed a little spot in the D, but we'll not worry about that right now. Look at that. Not only is it already wrapped on my water bottle, but here, let me see. It's not letting me grab it. There we go. It's movable. This is insane. Like, even for Photoshop, do you know how long it takes to like import it in and how like labor intensive it can be on your computer? Like, don't get me wrong, it's built great. Like, I love using mockups in Photoshop, but now I don't even have to leave Illustrator, and I can resize this however I want, kind of like change the orientation of it. So if I want to, if I'm not mistaken, because this is a little new, because I haven't messed with too many, I should be able to just, it's gonna let me do it. It might not let me do multiple at the same time, which is funny. But what we probably could do, what if I just expanded this? Yeah, now look at this. Now we go in, object, mockup make. Maybe. It might get mad at me. It's freaking out a little bit, and it's telling me, might be a little too much, but it's is working from what I'm seeing. This one kind of clipped out a little bit because of the expanding, but like, you get the idea. And like, if I wanted to, I could like export this out into multiple different like images, and I could keep sticker bombing this thing, and it would be like, I think it's pretty decently like presentable for a client. It's really cool. I think this is such a cool feature, and if you're not using it, I definitely highly suggest like implementing it into your workflow. It just makes things like so much more convenient, and it makes them like more fun to do. Like, I don't know, I love being able to kind of expand on my artwork and kind of make it see what it would look like in real life. It's just like, it's cool. I like it. And I don't know. Yeah. So, I mean, you know what? Even if we went on the fly, right? And let's say we grabbed another thing from Adobe Stock. Like, let's just do Adobe Stock free. Photos, free. Let's do t-shirt. Yeah, let's do this. Sweet. Download, bring this in. Look at this. Look how fast this is. All I have to do is resize this. Let's crop it. Yeah, it's fine. Don't yell at me too much. There we go. And let's just drag one of these over. Let's go object, mockup beta, make. I just think this is so cool. I hope you guys think this is cool too. Like, it's just so powerful and so sweet. And look at this, even adding to the riffles of the, it's so cool. I don't know. It's crazy. Like, things like this would take me hours when I was doing t-shirts and stuff and just trying to get like good mock-ups, and now I can just do this and it like looks like almost perfect. Like, it's just so good. I don't know. The last thing I want to show you just before we leave, because I think we've got about 3 minutes left, and thank you so much for hanging around, because this has been a ton of fun. So I just want to show you the asset export feature. It's really, really useful. And if you're doing multiple assets like this, it's pretty much detrimental in order to not have to export on different artboards and keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. It can be super annoying. So what you can do if you have multiple files in Illustrator like this, you can just highlight them both, and you can click over on, I should say, window and asset export. You can bring that up, and you can click on generate multiple assets, and that'll bring that in, and you can just export them directly to your desktop. It's extremely useful. You can also export them as one if you wanted to. Very, very fun, very easy, and pretty much like the go-to for exporting files for clients. But that's pretty much all I have time for today. I really appreciate you guys sticking around for me this morning. Thank you, Jack, for moderating this amazing day in Pro Tips. I've had a ton of fun, and I hope I'm going to see you guys soon. And I really hope you learned something today. So have the best day, keep creating, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys.